Everyone, and welcome to the first webinar in our Partnering with Nonius series. To those of you that don't know me, my name is Tony Tizzard. I'm Head of Business Development Nonius, and I'll be your host today. Today's webinar is all about our head-end solution, hardware and software. I like to call it TV distribution made simple. On the webinar, I'm going to be supported by Nonius, who is our software engineer responsible for the head-end and encryption portfolio, as well as our CTO, Leonel Domingues, who will help me to show and explain the solutions to you. At the end of the session, there'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions and have them answered live during the session. More personal questions can be raised at any time after the event if they are not suitable for public discussion. Some control issues, right? Okay, so without further ado, why are we here? Nonius has been supporting hospitality businesses for the last 16 years and has worked both directly with hotels and end users, as well as having had a global partner network. As a solution manufacturer, software house, we have solutions that very much enable our reseller network to solve more of their clients' problems with tailor-made solutions. This series of webinars is designed to show you, the reseller channel, what we have available to support you on your next solution opportunity. Using a tiered pricing structure and bid management process, we correctly look after our channel and partners and support them to grow whilst growing sustainably ourselves. So, a little background. Who are Nonius? Every year, 120 million guests use our technology. Just think how many users across access the Wi-Fi in a hotel reception. Just think how many guests turn on the TV in a hotel room. How do we do this? Well, Nonius have installations in 3,100 hotels and sites, of which there are 330,000 rooms. We have solutions in 85 countries. We are 125 people strong, with staff largely concentrated in R&D in Portugal. We have 12 offices around the globe, and we have 50 service partners. Before we start the technical part of the webinar, I would just like to take a moment to take you through some of the customers we are lucky to work with and explain the verticals we work in. Okay, looking at this slide, you will see we have Nonius Headend installed in many of the world's most well-known hotel brands. Accor, Belmond, IHG, to name just a few. Of course, we don't only support the big boys, we also have solutions for independent hotels and B&Bs as well. As experts in hospitality technology, we find that the hotel room is not the only place where our solutions can help. We also work with many maritime and cruise operators, healthcare, hospitals, prisons and detention centres, retail and stadia worldwide. Thinking about our head-end solution, audio and video distribution is everywhere. Please think of us on your next project. Okay, so now we are about to start the clever bit. I'm going to introduce you to Nunu. Nunu is our software engineer responsible for TV and head-end. He will take you through a feature presentation as well as a live demo. If during the webinar you would like to ask some questions, please type it in the Q&A and we will cover it in the questions and answers session at the end. Nunu, over to you.
Thank you, Tony. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Nuno, and I'm the software engineer responsible for this, for the TV ad-end portfolio, let's say. And I've been working with Nonius for about 10 years now. It's been a long time. So let's talk a bit about the technical part of our portfolio. If you have any questions, please write them down and feel free to ask at the end of the session. Okay, we are free to answer all your questions. If we don't have time, no worries. Later on, you can schedule a meeting with us and personally to talk about any doubts you have. Okay, so moving on. Nonius at end. It started basically 8 years ago. We had some issues with third-party vendors, and we wanted to have a, I don't know, maybe a special access to ease up the installation, mainly the operation. So we have deployed in over 400 properties in 30 countries. It's designed to be used worldwide. Okay, so you can use it in any market in the world. Why is that? Because we have a vast signal reception range in terms of formats and standards. Okay, so you can use DVB-S for satellite, which covers the entire world. You can have DVB-T mainly for Europe, also T2 support. And in terms of coax cable systems, we do also support DVB-C and QAM-B or ATSC in North America, and in South America we also support ISDBT. So as you can see, we have a global coverage in terms of DVB solutions and ATSC solutions. So we are ready to support any needs you have. Okay, so I'm biased, obviously, because I work with these products every day, but we think they are simple and they do have a high capacity solution because they are high density. Okay, we use 1 year rack servers, so you can place a lot of them and increase your capacity. And at the same time, it saves space, obviously, compared with other products, and it's lower power consumption. Okay, so in terms of use, again, I'm biased. It's easy to use, obviously, and to operate. Okay, this is 24/7. You have both a CLI option, console-based control, and also a new web GUI where you can intuitively and dynamically control and set up the system. Okay. It's cost effective for properties of all sizes, either small or big. It's easily scalable, and it obviously brings a return of investment easily. In terms of remote control, you do have SNMP if you want to integrate and make sure that these headends are managed and controlled in your own monitoring system. Okay, or if you have your own dashboard and you want to integrate this as a third-party solution, you can just ask for the REST API, which is based on Open API standard, so it's easy to understand and to integrate. In terms of markets, we do a lot of markets. We do hotel, we do maritime, maritime being cruise, and also oil rigs, offshore rigs. We do those also. These systems also integrate into corporate solutions like signage, maybe. And we do have some scenarios where we are working directly with TV providers to provide them a specific business solution for them for their clients instead of guests. Okay, that's a bit off the topic. In terms of support, we have a global support 24/7 and highly specialized. If it doesn't go well, or no, the support doesn't find you a solution, it comes up to us, to the software developer. So you know you're gonna get a solution anyway. Okay. Moving on. So DRM partners and operators. There's a special case where your content is protected. Okay, it has a conditional access system and a digital right management solution. So it means the system needs to be either decrypted or maybe encrypted. Okay, so we have worked with a lot of systems in the past and present. For example, Irdeto solution for encryption, Nagra. In terms of Samsung, we have the Samsung Link DRM that is used on the Samsung hospitality TVs. We support both on the front end and on the back end for encryption. And also we have the LG Proidium M in this case, not the legacy Proidium, which is part of the Zenith, which is a LG company. We also have experience with the Neocean cams, for example, and now with Smith, which they are being rolled over in Africa. In terms of operators, we have a lot of partners. In this case, we work mainly in Africa, for example, with MultiChoice, as in DSTV, their TV provider. In the UK, for example, work with Sky using their bright box. In Portugal, we worked with Altice, for example. In France and the Benelux, we work with Canal Plus, Canal Digital. In the UK, there's also Freeview, the DVB-T solution, open to the air. For example, in the Netherlands, we also have Ziggo. I think it's in Thailand, we have One TV. Spectrum would be, for example, in the US, and Zapier is another partner in Africa. Okay, so we have a lot of experience with a lot of partners. I don't think that's everything here in this slide, but just ask if we have any if you have any doubts. Okay. Moving on. Now, in terms of third-party solutions, okay, I'm mainly talking about hospitality solutions. Okay, we do have our own backend solution, but if you do have the vendor solution on site, for example, LG Procentric Direct, Samsung Link Cloud, or the old Samsung Reach, okay, or you're using Philips Command, you can use our add-in easily. Okay, it will just plug and play, okay, just place the URLs, the multicast, or whatever you use, and they will be easily integrated into the third-party systems. Okay. Now, what kind of equipment do we actually have in our portfolio? Let's start with let's say the most used one, I would say. So the DVB to IP gateway. On the input, we have basically everything. We have satellite, we have terrestrial, we have cable, DVB-C or QAM-B. We have also the Brazilian terrestrial, ISDB-TB. It's a Japanese, it's the Japanese DVB-T, let's say. And we also have IP support in some cases where TV providers supply the multiplex, okay, the MUX with all the channels through IP, straight through IP, instead of going through DVB-T or DVB-S. We support all of them. Okay, then it goes into our DVB IP gateway, either through tuners or through the Ethernet cable, and we can pick up either pay TV channels, okay, using CAM modules, conditional access modules. Those models are using Nagra, either Iderto, Conax. There's a lot of DRMs out there. And we also support free channels, FTA channels. Okay, so what this equipment does is picks up each DVB, it splits each channel into a single stream. Okay, so all the streams come up in multiple program streams, and we pick them up and demux them into single program streams. Okay, so basically the channels are decoded and sent out through Ethernet, through IP, on the local IP network, normally in multicast, so you can leverage the switching IGMP protocol. Okay, obviously this implies that the switching has IGMP capabilities. In some cases, in some network infrastructures or some different content distribution network topologies, let's say in some cases Wi-Fi, you can have unicast options. Okay, I would say not ideal, but in some cases they are needed, especially for signage. It's just one TV, and the integrator doesn't have IGMP easily available. So in that case, he can use the unicast solution. Okay. So next we have our HDMI to IP encoder. So as the name says, it picks up HDMI sources and stream them out through IP. Okay. This is ideal to playback DVB players, TV set-top boxes in cases you don't have conditional access models available, video cameras, and other HDMI outputs. Other examples are, for example, music boxes that use small NUCs, small Windows PCs to play back music. Those are most commonly used with this equipment. In the output, we have H.264, basically supported in every TV. And you can actually downgrade, so the output would be the same as the input, but in some cases, if your bandwidth constrained, you can downgrade to standard definition instead of high definition. Okay, in this case it goes out through IP in the switch, and then either through a hotel smart TV or an hospitality set-top box. Okay, this IP stream wouldn't be available obviously in a standard hotel TV, normal hotel TV, not smart TV, let's say. Okay, then now everyone is talking about the cloud, everyone is talking about OTT. Everyone wants to play back, I don't know, Netflix content, YouTube content. So we have a special equipment. We call it the OTT to IP Gateway. In this case, you can leverage a lot of cloud live content into one single server. Okay. The idea is to reduce the downlink footprint. So let's say you have 20 TVs watching, let's say, Al Jazeera, okay, and that Al Jazeera the channel is coming from the CDN. It's an OTT channel. Okay, instead of having 20 TVs downloading the same content, you place this server inside the data center, and it simply caches that content. Okay, so 20 TVs are downloading Al Jazeera from this server, and the server is downloading just one stream from the cloud. Okay, so so it's like, let's say, a point of presence in terms of CDN jargon. Okay, we can support up to 20 HLS input streams. Either input can be normally HLS, but we now support MPEG dash also. Okay, and in the delivery part can be like a pass through, either HLS or MPEG dash, but we can also let's say transmux it to multicast. Okay, so you can have HLS on one end and the legacy IGMP multicast on the other. Okay, this obviously won't create a bottleneck in your switching facility. This is normally to add some content that cannot be sourced from local TV operators. Okay, let's say maybe Al Jazeera, you don't have the satellite dish to get Al Jazeera or CNN, for example. Then you get this IP solution. Okay. Next, we have the DRM Cascader. So it's a digital rights management conditional access system gateway. Okay. In some cases, the TV provider demands that the content is encrypted throughout the hotel infrastructure. Okay. So you have paid TV arriving at the DVB IP gateway. You use CAM modules provided from the TV provider to decrypt them, but the TV provider doesn't want those channels to go out in the clear to the switching. Okay, so in these cases, you can place this server. Every DVB IP gateway will connect to this server instead of the switching. Okay, and then one cable from this server will go out to the switch, and that cable will provide only encrypted channels. Okay. Besides encrypting those channels using DVB IP gateways, you can also decrypt BIS. So it would work as an IP to IP gateway in terms of cache. In the output, we support Samsung Link DRM for Samsung Hospitality TVs. We support the new LG ProIdiom M, which is a software-based encryption system, not the legacy one. And it's supported only on I think WebOS 4.5. So you can have an easier and lower density solution for encryption. And we also support the old Secure Media, which was a big DRM back in back in those days, but I don't think it's normally used nowadays. Unfortunately, you can't use the, for example, let's say one stream out with Samsung Link DRM and ProIdiom, okay, because they are different encryption. They are different scrambling algorithms, so you would have to have two different streams, one for Samsung and one from LG, okay? So this is a more robust appliance, specially designed for this enterprise environment. It has more network interfaces exactly to get the decrypted channels straight to the equipment instead of the switching. So we can make sure and show the TV provider there's no way to access these channels, okay, through the switching gear. Okay, and now let's say these are the most recent introductions to our portfolio. It's the let's say the modulators. So instead of DVB IP, we now have DVB or HDMI, in this case, to DVB again. Okay, so in this case, we can pick up HDMI sources again from TV set-top boxes, DVB players, and instead of streaming to IP, we pick up those streams and stream out through coax. Okay, we have support for DVB-T, DVB-C, and in North America we do have support for QAM-B, and in South America we have support for ISDB-T. Okay, so in this case you can stream straight to a hotel smart TV or even a consumer TV, a normal consumer TV. Okay, so instead of, if you don't have an IP connection or Ethernet cable available in the room, you can use this kind of equipment. Okay, and also it reuses the same web interface from the other equipments. Okay, and in this case you would have a new let's say option, a new plugin where you can select where the channels go out. Okay, something I'll show more forward. Now, DVB to DVB gateway. In this case, you can reuse the DVB to IP, so collect channels from DVB-T, satellite, cable, or even IP. You can actually decrypt them in the same equipment, and you can then send them out through coax, the same as the previous one. So you have DVB-T, which is normally more resilient on the coax cabling system, DVB-C, QAM-B, and the Brazilian one. It uses the same web interface. And so in this case, there's always some functionalities in terms of coaxing system, namely the logical channel number. So you can pick up the number of the order you want the channel to be in. Okay, so for example, consumer TV will scan the channels, and then it will make sure the channels follow that logical channel numbering. Okay, it's something we still don't have, but we will have it in the upcoming versions. Okay, so it's easier for installations where you still want to use the coaxing system and you don't want to have that investment, or you can't have that investment for Ethernet or IPTV. Okay, so I think that's it. In terms of let's say a broad overview of all the equipment, so you can actually have all these systems into the same scenario. So in the backhaul, you have the CDN, the terrestrial antennas, the satellite antennas, maybe the TV provider IPTV or GPON systems, and in the hotel server room you can have all of these. So the OTT IP gateway to get the CDN channels, the AV to IP encoder to get the HDMI input sources, and the DVB IP gateway to get the DVB part or IP, and then either or not stream out through the switching through multicast, or maybe using the DRM Cascader to encrypt them. Okay, underneath you have everything supported. You have you can see here the LG set-top box as a set-top box support. You can use Philips Media Suite. You can use LG Procentric Smart TV, Samsung Tizen TV, but you can also use the old Orsay models. Okay, we do support starting from the EA 590 or 690 model. LG, we also support starting from the LT 760. The Philips Media Suite, we support starting from 5011, although previous ones are IPTV only. And we now support Vestel Hospitality Smart TV too. Okay. Okay, now examples. We're going to show a few examples of compatibility with operators, okay, and signals, not around the world, but specific to this case in Europe, let's say. So first of all, in the UK, you can use a DVB IP gateway to collect free-to-the-air channels, either from master satellites or Hotbird, for example, and provide them through IP. You can also pick up let's say the free view using DVB-T through IP. And then in the end, we are also credited to use Sky Brightbox. So if you want to Sky paid TV channels, you will have to use the Sky Brightbox. They have a big 4U unit, although they are now introducing a smaller 2U unit. So to pick up the DVB-S signal, decrypt using their cams, and then encrypting back to either Samsung Link for Samsung, ProIdiom for LG, or vSecure for Philips. Okay, so these are the three platforms you can support with the Sky Brightbox content. Okay. Okay, next, an example from Spain. We have a partner called Avatel. They provide a fiber uplink to the hotel. In this case, we have two options. We can either use their multiple program streams from IP, and then we can demux each program into a single program stream for a multicast IGMP support. There's also a GPON with DVB-T that we can pick up and send it out through IP. And obviously the DVB-S support using free-to-the-air channels from the satellites. Okay. Next, so this is an example from the Netherlands. You have again the DVB-S to IP gateway, collecting from Aster 1, 2, 3, Eutelsat or Hotbird. There's normally more satellites being used up there. Then we have two partners. One is Zigo, which is basically the same as Avatel. It provides IP multiple program transport streams that we can demux and provide a single program transport stream in unicasts. And we also have DVB-C provided by Zigo, so we can pick up the cable and again out through IP. And then we have the M7 group, where we use Nagra smart DTV cams using Nagra DRM from the satellite, and then goes out through IP all over. Okay. In Portugal, basically the same as Avatel or even Zigo. We have Altice, our partner, where we can pick up their, let's say most of their channels come from the GPON using DVB-T, which is obviously more stable than DVB-S, although they still don't have their premium sports package in the DVB-T system. So we need to pick them up from the DVB-S, okay, using the smart DTV with Nagra. Maybe soon they can merge it, so the pay TV channels will also come from the DVB-T, and we'll be able to use the Nagra cams in the DVB-T solution, which again is more stable. And we also use Aster and Hotbird in Portugal, so we need to use a DVB to IP gateway to collect the DVB-S system. In France, we have again the FTA using the Astra, also DVB-T using free-to-the-air. So this is the France terrestrial free-to-the-air subscription. You don't need a subscription, but it's available anywhere. And then if you want pay TV channels, for example, from Canal Plus, you can use our DVB IP gateways and their cams, okay? Normally Nagra cams. And now the new modulator system, let's say, you can have the same free-to-the-air system as previously using a DVB to IP gateway. This DVB to IP gateway provides the multicast streams on the switching through IGMP. And then we are working with a new provider called KPN that delivers DVB-T, for example. And then we can use our DVB to DVB gateway, which is the modulator. So you can pick up DVB or IP streams and deliver them through DVB again, okay? In this case, it's a DVB-T distribution through coax, okay? So you can use either a smart TV or a non-smart TV, let's say consumer TV, okay? This is the new modulation part that we are using now. They're doing now. Okay, so I think this is all for now. In terms of configuration and management, as I said, we have a console. We have also a web admin and an API. So in terms of console, let's say it's the legacy way to configure. You could set up the tuner, you could list the tuner, you could get statistics, signal strength, etc. And now we have a new, let's say, web interface that it's more intuitive to use. Just let me show you. So in this case, we have the login. Okay, so what do I see here? So this is the rear view of the system, okay, as I shown before. On the left, on the upper slot, I have one input with 8 DVB-T tuners. At the moment, only 5 tuners are being used. On the upper right, I have one out coax cabling with DVB-T, 4 DVB-T muxes. Okay, so I have 4 DVB-T modulators to stream out channels in DVB-T. Okay, on the lower row, I have on the left 2 cam slots, and the right another 2 cam slots. Okay, 3 being used, 1 not being used. Here I can see the output services. Okay, all of them seem to be okay. If they were not, some either of them would be either scrambled or off or inactive. Either a tune was off, for example. There's a bit rate here. So in this case, there's no considerable bit rate to address, because everything is going out through the coax. You can later check the DVB bit rate, let's say, on each on the modulator add-on. And below you can see which services are running on each cam. Okay, being the last one 0 service because it's not in use. Okay, so on the left, let's say you have status, so the dashboard. You can then select inputs, and on the inputs you have all the tuners available on view all. You can also go to each slot to manage just the tuners you want. Okay, in this case I can see the runtime, the signal strength, and the signal to noise ratio values. Okay, also I can see the frequency configured and the bandwidth going out. If I extend this more, I access the editing part, where I can save, reload, restart, reset to clear all the settings and stop the tuner. Okay, in this case I can see the signal strength and the signal to noise ratio, so the quality of the signal. And here I can see the errors and discontinuities. Okay, so this tuner has been running for 5 days, and this is a very low error count. Okay, if this doesn't go up, it's perfect. Okay, after tuning and configuring, you can then go to services and have a broader view of the available service you have on each tuner. Okay, you can filter for tuner also. In this case, tuner 1 tells me the channels are encrypted. Okay, and it tells me the conditional access system ID. It doesn't tell me which provider, but eventually I'll add up this provider name here instead of the number. It's more intuitive. Then you can select any channel you want, add, pick up the output IP port, select which cam you want it to go out through. Okay, and in case you have a modulator, you can select a modulator you want. Okay, then you can also select the PIDs you want on the output. Okay, and then below you have the active service. So these are configured services. As you can see, it has a multicast already defined as output, and then you can see if the TV channels are scrambled or not. Normally in cases of the encrypted tuner. So let's say RTL4 comes up as scrambled on the availability, and on the output it goes out unscrambled. Okay. Okay, then cam pools, you can see where each service is running through. Okay, and if the cam is present or not, it's important. Can also go through each tab and see all the channels on each cam module. You also have networking, so here you can see the network statistics, but also configure each network interface, either management or IP. We have only 2 network interface available on these servers. Okay, and then the modulator add-on, you'll be able to configure. In this case, it's a DVB-T. As I said before, you can configure the DVB-T modulator options, either transmission to increase or decrease bandwidth, modulation, interval code rate, stuff like that. It's very technical, but you can also restart, stop, and here you can add the channels you want, either active services, so services that are already configured with an IP, or manual. You can select streams, incoming streams from the switch, let's say, not from the server itself, okay? And in the end, you can see the bandwidth you are using versus the bandwidth still available on the DVB-T modulator, okay? In this case, we have all of these channels running, and then you can browse through each output to see how the channels are running. So as you can see, all are showing, all are running channels, okay? In the end, you have the normal system stuff, let's say configuration. In this case, this configuration here has been modified, saved, let's say 27 days ago. It's the running configuration, it's currently running, and it's also configured as the boot configuration, okay? So if you reboot the system, it will run this configuration. It will set up this one, okay? Actions. So here you can schedule a reboot, let's say daily, weekly, or monthly. You can either reboot the system, restore to factory settings and power off. In the time, you can either set the time manually or automatically using an NTP server, and you can select the time zone for it. And on the system maintenance, you have the upgrade part available, okay? Let's see just the bandwidth part. So this server is exactly the same, but it doesn't have the DVB-T modulator add-on, okay? So in this case, you can actually see the IPTV bandwidth going out again, okay? So with almost 90 megabits and all the channels, perfectly fine, okay? Okay, so moving on. So this was the web interface. If you still want to see the command line, I can set up a meeting with any of you to show it. Then, as I said before, we do have an open API. If you want to integrate all of this into your own dashboards, okay? If you want to do your own integrations, you're perfectly able to do it, okay? Then there's a few special cases, maritime cases. Why are these so special? In terms of maritime, on cruise ships, you would normally have an automatic tracking satellite system, okay? These systems have special consoles, controllers, let's say, with RS232 to IP converters, which we can integrate to have an easier managing solution for your cruise integration, okay? Besides that, it's practically the same. As long as the satellite dish is being auto-tracked properly, you can have the same systems that you use on the hotel with live TV receptions from satellite, and also CAM support for decryption. And also another special case in cruise ships is the river dams crossing, okay? If you're crossing a dam, you'll lose signal. We had issues in the past, and we have introduced, let's say, an high fault tolerance system to be able to recover from those crossings, okay, where you lose signal. Sometimes even the CAM modules act funny when you cross a dam and come out not working properly on the other end. So we do have special cases where we have some algorithms that overcome these issues, okay? I won't say it works on all, but we do have some cases where we need those systems working. And in the end, there's also some special features the cruise ships want, mainly the bow cameras and pro cameras. So they want the guests to see what's happening on different parts of the cruise ship. In this case, we can pick up IP unicast streams from those cameras, okay? And then you can use an IP to IP gateway, let's say, to transmux these channels into multicast, okay? So they can be available in the ship, in the hotel rooms, okay? Either through an hotel smart TV or on a set-top box, okay? And this will work as a normal TV channel, okay? So thank you all. And now I'll pass to my colleague, my esteemed colleague, Anthony Tizzard. Back to you.
Thanks, Nunu. Okay, right, see if I've got control. Okay, so for a solution that offers anything in and anything out, you have to make sure that you have, you spec or purchase a chassis with the right parts to do the job. Our solution specialist will be happy to help you with that. Please just reach out to me or your preferred Nonius contact, and we can help you spec a solution and offer pricing just for you. Okay, so during the presentation, there were a few questions, okay? Some of them were very detailed and very regionally specific. So some of them we might come back to you after, but if I think everyone's able to answer, then we'll go through them now. Okay, yeah, so let's have a look. So I'm joined by Leonel, our CTO, to answer some of those questions. And indeed, if there's any that we all struggle on, there's Nunu from R&D and development as well. Okay, so looking at the questions. Welcome, Leonel, I should have said first. Okay, so first of all, I've got a question from somewhere else in the world to I am, and it says, what solutions do you offer for bed and breakfasts for IPTV? Okay, so look, that's a great question, and I guess in different parts of the world, people understand IPTV to be different across the world. Okay, so for me, IPTV is the distribution of a TV channel over the internet or over IP. To some of you, it means, you know, a nice interface in the hotel, something that you can communicate with the guest and that sort of thing. So being honest, most B&Bs don't have the infrastructure to support true IPTV because they traditionally don't have network switches and Cat5 cables and things like that, okay, and a head end. So what I would say is what probably best fits that atmosphere or that environment is maybe our cloud TV product, okay? So you can offer everything that you would offer in a substantially larger hotel or premises, but with low hardware, let's say, costs, okay? So low hardware costs, and all you would need is a smart TV or a set-top box and an internet connection, and you could deliver then. Okay, so for the next question, okay, so I've got one for Leonel now because I definitely know this. It looks like it's a question from Malta, Leonel, and it says, do you support the bulk descrambling of IP streams encrypted in Verimatrix, VCAS, IP, AES, ECB? So Dominic's got a local broadcaster there supplying up to 150 streams over IP, and he wants to descramble to provide streams to the TVs in the room. Is that something we can answer now?
Well, it's not the first time that I hear about that request, and maybe Nuno can also help me with that. If I understood this, you want to in this case, you want to terminate those streams at the hotel and then open them to distribute over IP, over multicast.
Yeah, it looks like they're already delivered at the property, but they're delivered encrypted in Verimatrix.
that termination can only be done with very matrix software that is deployed on a server on the premises. But unless it's really big property, I think it's not viable commercial. It's very expensive to do that. Maybe we should look at other alternatives, and we're happy to talk with you after this. Maybe there's another way to do that, because it's every time we did that calculation, it was really expensive to do it and not viable. We were never able to actually get a case for deploying it.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, we'll pick up with you after, Dominic. Okay, dependent on the number of hotels and things and exactly what you want to do. Okay, so next question. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask you, Leonel. It says, do you support DRM for Philips? I think we've pretty much covered it, but do we support DRM for Philips vSecure?
We're supporting DRM for Philips vSecure in both the TV and the headend as well.
Yeah, more specifically, Nuno, it's I think we can decrypt, but we can't encrypt currently. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. We do support vSecure on the Philips TV side, let's say, with our own software, but we do not support Philips vSecure on the headend side. Let's say we
generation.
do not
generate the generation of the vSecure streams, right?
Exactly. The encryption, the scrambling system, we do not support it. We could for the right price, obviously, but we don't.
Yeah, and again, I'll pick up with whoever asked that question privately after, okay, because yeah, I obviously know something about it as well. So, okay, so the question, I think it's coming from Italy, and it says, do we offer SAP over multicast? So do we do channel announcement over SAP with multicast? Good question.
We don't.
We don't. Okay.
We don't. We do have. We don't use SAP, but we do have a service discovery protocol embedded. Okay, so it's basically a broadcast message going out through the. It's called the STP. Instead of a SAP, it's called the STP. We use that instead. Okay, so let's say you plug into the same system, and there's a discovery message sent out through the network. Okay, so you can pick up that message. Okay, I have let's say a DVB IP gateway here, and then using the API, you can extract the available channels from that same server. Okay, but no, we don't use the SAP. I would say SAP would be to embed in VLC, let's say, or Plex or something like that, more open source, but we do not support that at the moment.
That's great. So you're saying with the use of our API or the Nonius cloud or the Nonius on-prem TV solution, that we can provide an auto discovery of channel solution, which is quite nice. Yeah. Okay.
And also the output level of modulator. Yeah. I think I'm not sure. Technically, I'm not sure if we do have that available. We probably have, but I'll have to double check.
Yeah. Okay. And is it something that is adjustable in the current software or attenuated externally by the customer at the moment?
Oh, if it's adjustable. Yes, it's adjustable. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Right. Let's see if we've got any other questions here. Okay. Right. So another good question here. How can a reseller work in a market in a region and not compete with Nonius regional branch? Okay. So yeah, look, great question. But I guess we're very experienced with doing direct sales and working with partners. Okay, so using a bid management and tiered pricing structure, if you bring us an opportunity, we look after the opportunity, we deal register it as yours, and therefore, you know, we look after you, we manage the opportunity, we clearly don't go direct and do anything with it, okay? So one more here. What does it mean you are Sky approved? Is it not that your headend that is used? Okay, so I'll answer it because I can, Leonel. And basically, being Sky mandate or require that all Sky installers have to be accredited or approved by Sky. Okay, so I think there's 3 packages that you can deliver with Sky at the moment, including Sky Box per room, the Sky Bright Box, and you know there's some legacy MATV or distributed TV solutions out there. Yeah, so basically, Sky installers have to be accredited. We've got accreditations for all 3, and yeah, we're happy to help. Okay. Yeah, I think that is all the questions we've got at the moment. Does anyone else have any questions? I'll just check in the Q&A here. Okay, so I think that's it. But look, if I have missed anything, we will come back to you privately quite quickly. Okay, so quite specifically on the TV distribution in Africa question, for example, we'll come back to you privately. Yeah, but otherwise, all that remains is for me to say thank you for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, I'll basically remind you of the next webinar that we've got coming up, and I think that is on the 6th of July. Let me just check. Yeah, so 6th of July, 11 AM London time, and it'll be about Nonius Mobile, allowing to help you provide a contactless digital experience in a matter of weeks through use of a native hotel app. Please remember that date. We'll also send a reminder about that. If you've got any questions about becoming a partner, please feel free to contact me or your existing Nonius representative in your region. Okay, so yeah, all that remains. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Leonel, for the questions and answers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nunu, for the demo.
Welcome.